I am the amazing atheist, and this is JoJo, my singing monkey, who dances for nickels. We just returned from seeing The Karate Kid, starring Will Smith's unfortunate offspring. This movie is not nearly as terrible as I thought it would be, which I guess is not saying a whole lot for it. But it's actually surprisingly effective, which is not to say for a second that it's a good movie.
There were problems with it, but it was nothing where you were sitting there going like, what the fuck? It wasn't like when you saw Clash of the Titans, if you saw it, where you were like, why the fuck did they remake this movie into this piece of shit? Because you know for the next 20 years, everyone's thinking of Clash of the Titans, you're going to think of that piece of dog shit. Whereas this one is like a modern update where you're like, okay, that's fine, that's all good and well. They changed a few things around. It's not that, original, but hey, it'll do.
Yeah, it sticks very, very closely to the plot of the original. And I know there are some shakeups. They changed the location from the United States to China. They changed it from karate to kung fu. The main character is a little bit younger than Daniel San was in the first movie. Obviously, it's a black kid, and not that really comes into play too much. Now, it's about the same length as the 1984 original, but it just feels a hell of a lot longer. And part of the reason why is because it takes itself a lot more seriously than it needs to. I think that one of the problems with this film is that it actually has too much reverence for the source material, which is, I suppose, a lot better than having not enough reverence for the source material. But this thing kind of comes at the Karate Kid as if it were Casablanca or something. You know, you don't need to be that serious. This should have been just a fun popcorn flick, and there's a lot of stuff in there that seems a little bit more challenging than it needs to be, and it just feels artificial.
They had very haphazard character development. Like, they show in one point they show the Jackie Chan character, and they give him more of a human side, and you understand why he's kind of this cold, detached guy in a way. The other side of the coin, it's like they don't really explain a lot of things.
There really is no defined motive for the mother to move to China in the first place. And she's just a really annoying character. She's very overbearing, she's very over the top. Not really the sort of character that she seems totally out of place in the movie, because everyone else plays their characters very straightforward, very deadpan, very realistically.
And the mother's crazy.
And the mother is just like this crazy character who stumbled in from some other movie and doesn't really seem to have a place in this film. I definitely wish her role had been downplayed. And one of the other things I don't like about this movie is the fact that, it seems like every movie we see now where there is any bond formed between an older man and a young boy, or a younger person.
Yeah, the mentor role.
Yeah, and whenever you see the mentor and apprentice role in a movie these days, it always has to be after both of them have suffered losses. One of them doesn't have a father, one of them doesn't have a son anymore. We don't need that. I mean, it's okay for these characters to just have a relationship without these tragic backstories where both of them are using each other to fill some emotional hole in their lives.
That was kind of a horrible thing movie. It's like, you have Jackie Chan, his family, who's, spoiler alert, his family is killed in a car accident, which is his fault, so, he's living a life of regret. And, then the other kid's dad, inexplicably is dead as well. And you're sitting there like, okay, so now there are these two fucked up people, and it's like, Jackie Chan just stumbles through life, and the other kid doesn't know, I hate China, it's horrible. And then suddenly he's running through the whole city of Beijing, and Jackie Chan just happens to know where he is and saves his ass.
Yeah. Another really strange thing about this movie is that it takes place over the course of what I can only assume is at least a 3-month period. And in that time, Jaden Smith's character, Dre, or Xiao Dre, never seems to make any effort to assimilate into the culture other than this learning of kung fu. He doesn't, towards the end of the film, he still doesn't seem to know any Chinese whatsoever, which just it just strains all credibility. Also, he has a love interest in the film who inexplicably speaks English. It's never really explained how or why she speaks English. She just does because that's convenient for the plot. No one else seems to speak it in the school he's going to. His bullies don't speak it.
Didn't it seem kind of forced too? Like they hate him just because he was there. It's like, we hate you. Like, you figure you could at least understand if it was like, you're not Chinese or some bullshit. But it's like, you fucked with this girl one time, so now we're mortal enemies.
There was one point in the movie where the teacher of the dojo where the bullies all go to learn their evil kung fu was referring to Dre, played by Jaden Smith, of course, as the
little thing,
that thing or something.
Yeah,
or
the little thing or something.
So there was a little bit of an undercurrent of racism, but they never made it too explicit. The motives of the bullies are sort of, unclear. Not that it really matters that much. The function of the bullies in these Karate Kids movies is always to just be an external factor that presents just malice and this inhuman level of douchebaggery.
Yeah, because I mean, like, no one really goes around for the most part. I mean, I would say there's very few exceptions, like bullying someone just everywhere they go. Like, everywhere this kid goes, there's bullies there. It's like, he goes to the store and this guy, like, I have to buy some toilet paper, and that guy's in the fucking toilet paper roll with the last roll of toilet paper going like, you need this, motherfucker?
Speaking of toilet paper, this has nothing to do with the actual movie, but when I was in the restroom, I had to take a shit, and somehow this theater has stumbled upon a brand of toilet paper, and I gotta give a congratulations to whoever invented this toilet paper, because this is a toilet paper that somehow manages to feel like sandpaper and yet have the consistency of a snowflake, because it comes apart in your hands. So I don't know how you made a toilet paper so abrasive that it can feel like you're wiping your asshole with a pine cone, and yet so shoddy that it comes apart in your hands and leaves shit all over your fingers.
So very weak sandpaper.
Yeah. Another thing that I have to complain about, just about this theater experience for this movie, was the absolute imbeciles that were sitting behind me making a running commentary. I just wanted to turn around and say, look, I paid to see this movie, not to hear your idiotic commentary. Watching 12-year-olds beat the ever-loving shit out of each other is pretty fun. The martial arts sequences in this movie are better than expected, even if you could tell there was some difficulty in making it look like Jaden Smith was on the same level as these other kids who are clearly lifelong martial artists. Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith both give good performances, particularly Jackie Chan, who this is one of the best performances I've seen him give. Not that he's ever been known as much of
but I mean,
actor,
he was really believable in his role. I mean, most times Jackie Chan's like over the top, stupid idiot, like going blah, blah, blah. Which was kind of cool because when you saw the fight scenes he did do, which I think it was only one, you could still see his personality and style come out in the fight, but he wasn't making stupid noises or being a moron or any typical trademark shit he does.
His performance doesn't equal the performance of Pat Morita from the original, but then again, who expected it to?
Yeah.
It comes very close. It comes a lot closer than you would expect. And I think that actually Jaden Smith is a far more compelling protagonist than Daniel San was. But if you go see a movie anytime in the next week or so, then you could do a hell of a lot worse than this Karate Kid remake.
Splice.
It's alright.
Peace the fuck out.